Hi, welcome to Turn Based Besties, a podcast where two grown adults with no free time talk about their favorite RPGs. I'm DJ.
And I am Sam, and we're besties that love to game. Today, we will be discussing Monster Hunter Stories 3 Twisted Reflection. This is the turn based cousin of the mainline Monster Hunter action RPG games that are so popular out there,
That's a really long
amongst
title.
cool folks like myself. There are so many long titles nowadays, especially with like the Switch 2, which is, the main system I play. So you'll
Hmm.
have like
Oh
a
my
Switch
god,
2
yeah.
edition on top of it that adds another extra line of text to the title.
It's like Fire Emblem, Three Houses, an unlimited edition, Byleth's penis, Switch 2 exclusive.
Yeah, pretty much. I think that might actually be a game coming out that they think they just announced.
It is, yeah, they just announced it today. I'm really excited for it.
But what outside of gaming, which is what we'll be chatting about primarily, have you been up to?
A lot of traveling and a lot of singing. I can't remember last time we recorded. I think I just got back from Vermont. I think
You've traveled so much and you've been so many places, and then we
I
have been
know.
squeezing these episodes in and we're making it work. But
I
you are
know.
a busy little beaver.
I'm a busy little singer. I know. I know. Well, I'm on my last gig right now for a while. Last week I recorded an album. No big deal.
No big deal.
No big deal. Recorded an album with my
Woot
loves
woot.
Vox Nova and gave two concerts, and then was home for a week. And I just got to Bend, Oregon yesterday and jumped right into Deflator Mouse rehearsals, which we'll put up not next weekend, but the following weekend.
Oh my gosh, man!
So
One thing after another.
one thing after another. But after that, I don't have an away gig until like 2027, which is
Nice.
awesome. Like I purposefully have kind of said, "Oh no, I don't think that's the right time for me to leave to some gigs." So I'm like, I get to like chill in Seattle mostly
Recharge.
recharge a little bit, teach my lovely students a little bit. This isn't about me, but it is exciting, and it happened today. There were more games announced. Like this entire weekend was like, I think, what is it, like the Let's Play or Playgo or something. It was one of those video game announcement things. I forget what it's actually
It was
called.
the Summer Games Fest for one,
For
but
one
I
of
think there
them,
were there was other stuff too. That was
there,
one of the big ones, and then there was additional announcements after that.
yeah, there have been a lot of announcements, and just a couple hours ago, they announced, well, they like released like a teaser trailer of Persona 6, which looks really spooky and like horror adjacent. So I'm pretty
Yeah.
excited about that. And then Persona 4 Revival has a release date of February 18th, 2027. So we will obviously play that one and cover
We will
that
play
one.
that, and I'm actually really happy that it's next year. But
I
I
too.
like I like that release date a lot. Early 2027, great, good job, Atlas.
Yeah, yeah, really nailing it. So yeah,
That's
that's I know that's what's going on with me. Lots of singing, and now I'm excited about video games again.
well, good, good, as you should be, because that's what we're doing this for. That's what it's all about.
Heck yeah! Oh, I guess the other thing is I
Except
saw you last week.
I know we've gotten to have these nice little meetups, short meetups, which is great. So that's the one good thing about you traveling so much for music is sometimes it means you have to fly out of Kansas City, and
I
here you be,
know. I get to hang out with you and Taylor and the cats and the kids.
and the kids. You saw the kids too.
I
They
did.
got to see you all, and they really know you all, which is kind of nice.
Yeah, it's kind of nice. Yeah, Ann and I played some checkers. Well, no, chess. No, checkers because I don't know how to play chess.
How much did In cheat?
Well, okay, she didn't cheat outright, but oftentimes she would look at me with this, like, to quote your lovely wife, shit-eating grin, which I know she got from you. And then she would
It's
pretend
genetic.
to, she, I did, she'd pretend to like move the checkers piece like five spaces and then look at me and laugh, and I'd be like, I don't know if that's the right move, and then she'd move it back and laugh. It was really cute.
Hey, that's progress though. Normally she just overtly cheats and then tries to get away with it. So good, I like that. But yeah, that's good to hear, and it was great that they could see you. The kids and I went to the lake this weekend. Just myself.
Oh,
Tay was not able to. I had my folks there. It was fine. It was great. We're doing the normal lake stuff, swimming and tubing and ice cream and s'mores. However, it was pretty rainy, so it would be
Oh,
it was kind of fun. It would kind of like clear for a moment, and then we ran down to the dock and took the kids out tubing, and then it started raining on us again, so we came back in, and they were great with it, so it was nice.
cool.
Yeah, that was good. While we were down there, uh, Kay, our 2-year-old,
Uh-huh.
is very, very mommy centric.
Mm-hmm.
And Kay would just walk around and tell everybody, my mommy is at work. My
Well,
mommy is at work. Because mommy was at work
yeah.
on Friday,
Mm-hmm.
but not the rest of the weekend. But she needed everybody to know that the only reason mommy wasn't here with her, because it's her mommy and mommy should always be there, is because mommy is at work.
Of course.
So she actually did really well. She wasn't like crying about it, but this was her mantra. She had to go around telling everybody to make sure that, they were okay,
Well,
that they knew
yeah.
mommy was at work.
Well, that's nice that she let everybody know. That probably calmed everyone else's, nerves who were they were waiting for Taylor to show
Exactly.
up. So,
Exactly. Kay was doing just fine as a 2-year-old. She doesn't need her mommy 100% of the time, always and forever.
yeah, it
And she
certainly
needed them
sounds
to
like
know.
it.
Anyway, yeah, yeah. So it was a good old time. Good old time. But let's jump into it, DJ. I know we chatted about this game a little bit, and you had
Yeah,
looked
yeah.
into it a little bit. So
Mhm.
tell me what you know about Monster Hunter Stories 3 Twisted Reflection in general.
Not a lot, but what I do know is that it is a turn-based JRPG. It was developed and published by Capcom, which I know Capcom for like Resident Evil and Street Fighter games, so I'm always pleasantly surprised when I'm like, oh yeah, they also put out some role-playing games every so often, from here and
Yeah,
there.
they're kind of crushing it this year
They
with
really
Resident
are.
Evil and Pragmata was a big game. I think it was a Capcom. Oh no, sorry. Yeah, no wait, that was. And then Monster Hunter Stories has actually been well received. So
Yeah.
Capcom's doing big things.
Yeah, no, they're kind of killing it. Yeah, so developer published by Capcom. It is released on Switch 2, PS5, Windows, Steam, Xbox, maybe other things too, but I think those are the main ones. And it was just released back in March 13th, 2026, and it's gotten some excellent ratings. So IGN, and I know a lot of people boohoo them, but and I do too, but they're still a major outlet. IGN gives it a 9 out of 10, OpenCritic 92%, Metacritic, which is the one I think you and I revere the most,
Generally, yeah.
86 out of 100, which is an excellent score.
Yeah, I mean, you might not think that a kind of spin-off esque game that's a turn-based version of the normal mainline Monster Hunter games would be so well received, but they did a top-notch job here. I
Yeah.
I would say that off the bat,
Hmm.
you don't have to have played the Monster Hunter mainline games to like this game or play this game. It does help.
Hmm.
It's the same monsters. You would recognize them. So I was able to recognize them when I could use them on my team rather than battling against them. That was kind of fun. The weapons are similar. The crafting system and the collection system is very similar. So there's so many nods to the mainline game that really elevate the experience if you've played them.
Hmm.
But it's also just well developed, good systems and fun combat. So you don't have to have played it.
Well, that's good because I've not played any of the Monster Hunter games.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. But my job here today is to give you an overview and maybe convince you or somebody else out there in the world to give this one a shot.
Yeah, so go ahead, convince me.
Okay, okay.
I
So
dare
you know the in general. Now, the story though. What are you doing in this game? Because it is a Monster Hunter Stories game. It's got to be about that story. You are caught in the middle of a conflict between two unfriendly neighbor nations of Azuria and Vermeil.
you.
Both kingdoms are confronted with a crystal encroachment, which affects the local monsters. You take the
What?
role of the heir to Azuria. Yeah, this crystal encroachment. So it's like a blight or a thing that's affecting the monsters, making them more aggressive
Oh,
and,
okay.
and everything. Yeah. You take the role of the heir to Azuria as you attempt to solve this puzzle of the crystal encroachment and save the world as you know it. One cool aside to these games too is, the mainline games you're fighting and slaying the monsters. In
Hmm.
these, especially within the kingdom that you're the heir in Azuria, you're a rider. So you work with the monsters. You ride them. You are like one with the monsters. So
Oh,
yeah, that's why they're on your team rather than just killing them all. You do fight against other monsters, but they're also your teammates and they're your monstee partners.
Monstie. Okay, cool.
Yeah. Gameplay wise, there's a lot of exploration. It's rather open world, not completely open world. There's about 4 different open environments that you can fast travel between. Each of these will have roaming real life monsters kind of in their habitat, in their native habitat, which is cool. And you can fight them when you approach them and initiate a battle. There's a lots of things to collect, just like in the mainline games. You know, you can collect different plants and ores and insects and mushrooms, and you'll use all those things to craft different items that give you buffs in battle and other things, and also making armor and weapons and anything else. There's
Mm-hmm.
also a lot of secret stuff you can do in each biome. You can search for different secrets that might be part of a side quest, which is cool. Or within each biome, there's going to be these invasive monsters that you have to kind of find their secret area. And then when you battle them, it's a puzzle battle. You have to collect clues, and
Oh.
yeah, you're not, they're way strong. You're not going to be able to beat them, so you have to figure out how to kind of make them retreat. And then when they retreat, it unlocks a new monster, a special monster in that region that the invasive monster was kind of keeping down,
Oh. Well,
which is
that's
kind of
kind of
fun.
cool.
Yeah, there's cool stuff to do basically when you're exploring around. And okay, here's the thing of this game that I never thought would have gotten the hooks in me, but it did.
Okay.
Is the monster collection slash habitat restoration mechanic. So, I mean, this is a monster collector game. It's kind of like a Pokemon or an SMT or a, you know what I mean, like a
Okay.
Persona in a way that you're collecting these monsters, and they're literally the dragon type monsters that you find in the areas, right?
Are they all dragons?
No,
Okay.
most of them are,
Okay.
but those are like the wyvern type and the dragon type.
Yeah.
Some are more cat-like. There's like a bear-like one. There's a bunch of different types, but I'd say most of them resemble different types of dragons, kind of.
Hmm.
And that's how it is in Monster Hunter. But you will have to collect these monsters by finding their dens, which are literally just like cave openings that randomly RNG appear when you repopulate the map. So that's kind of awkward. Like there'll just be okay, I'm walking down this way. There's a cave opening. You go in it, and then there'll be a nest, and you get to collect the eggs. All of these animals have eggs. There's a bear one. It has an egg.
Oh yeah.
There's like cat-like ones. They have eggs.
Of course
All
they
of them have
do.
eggs. Get
Yeah.
past that. They're cool little colorful eggs. You grab the egg and they're giant, right? And you run away with it, and then you hatch it, and then you can utilize that monster on your team if you want to.
So what I'm hearing is you kidnap babies.
You kidnap, yeah.
Okay.
You got
Just
it, nailed it.
great. Just making sure that we're on the same page here. So awesome. This is obviously a game for people who want to be predators and kidnap children.
You
Super
kidnap baby
fun.
monsties, and then make them your own, and you brainwash them to fight for you, and they go have Stockholm syndrome and all of that.
Oh my gosh, a lovely cult game.
It's a peaceful JRPG, just a cozy game. No, but you collect these eggs, and then you have them that you can use on your team, or you can release them back into the wild.
Like a catch and
And
release.
yes, and if you release them back into the wild, it upgrades the level of that specific monster in that area. And then if it'll upgrade them from like F to D to C
Uh-huh.
to B
Yeah.
to, and then S tier is the top. And so when you get them to S tier, if you go and you steal another egg and
Mm-hmm.
hatch it that's S tier, it'll be a stronger version basically. It'll have better genes, better things that you can
Okay,
utilize.
so eugenics of eggs, and they all listen to S Club 7. Did I get that correctly?
You nailed it. I mean, I think we're selling everybody on this.
Fantastic. So,
But yeah,
okay.
so you collect a lot of eggs, and then you release them back to upgrade them, and then you collect them again to get stronger versions of them. And then when you have the stronger version, that's when I would use that one on my team and
Okay.
and keep it on my team. You don't have. I mean, you could use the lower version. You don't have to do that. But I thought it was actually very meditative and relaxing and cozy to just go around and collect eggs and upgrade the habitat for each one. I liked it.
Okay. So, question then. If you don't release your egg back into the wild, can it still advance tiers like from F to E to D, etc., or it
No,
only if
you
you
have to.
release it back?
Yeah, you got to use the habitat restoration mechanic to get it to
Gotcha.
upgrade. Yeah, I mean it'll gain levels
Sure.
like number levels,
Yeah.
and it'll get stronger that way. But it'll still be a C tier or whatever it started as. I think it starts as C actually, not
Okay.
F.
Okay,
Anyway,
cool.
but yeah.
Well,
So yeah, so you wanna steal monsters?
well,
Sorry, monster babies.
I don't know if I want to steal monster babies because that seems mean. But no,
Okay,
that
all
sounds
right,
actually totally
fine.
fine.
Fair enough. We'll keep going. We'll keep trying.
Yeah.
So,
Sell me on the combat here.
all right. So combat wise, turn based. We've mentioned it before. Still turn based. There are 4 team members actively. You have yourself, and you have your monster that you've been riding, and
Hmm.
you can actually switch those out. So you can have 1,000,000 back in the stables, like 700 back in the stables, but then you'll have 6 on your normal team that are your monsties, and you can switch them out as the one that's fighting alongside you. Kind of like a Pokemon that you could, or an SMT. You'll have
Hmm.
a certain number that are on your active roster, and then you'll have one other rider, so one other human,
Okay.
and their monster, and that's the active 4 that are fighting against a enemy monster at any given time.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Let's see. You control the activities of yourself and your monstie.
Hmm.
They can act on their own if you want the monster to act on its own, but you can pick the attack that it does. And then the other rider and their monstie are AI generated, which I don't love, but yeah,
Oh.
they'll do their own thing.
Oh, well, I don't love that.
I know, but then there's like 6 other. You're making some decisions because there's, I think, 6 people that you can choose from, and they each have a different, monster or a couple by the end that they can choose between. And so certain, you might say, hey, I'm going to attack this monster, or I'm going to do this big fight, so I want this partner, and I want them to have this monstie with them
Yeah.
because of these attacks and because of this strategy. So there's some
Mm-hmm.
strategy to it, but
Okay.
yes, there's an AI that's going to control the other party members.
Okie dokie.
Yeah. Alrighty. So gauges and meters. I'll just touch on this. Some stuff's a duh, but there's a few wrinkles here. So you have a health bar. Great. You have a stamina bar. That's your mana or your MP used for abilities. And this is another point of they adapt it from the game so well because you have health and stamina in the game. And your stamina is how you run. Sorry, in the mainline Monster Hunter games, you have
Hmm.
stamina, and that's a big part of like your attacking and your dodging and all of that. So in this, stamina is mana or MP.
Hmm.
You also have a Wyvern Fell gauge on the monsters you're attacking. Basically, this is just if you knock it down, it's like a health bar, but it's not their health. If you knock it to nothing, it'll like stagger them or topple them to the ground, and then they're exposed for bigger hits and higher damage, and they can't fight back for a turn.
Ooh.
So certain builds will be focused on using blunt weapons and other things that might hurt the Wyvernfell gauge more, because then you might knock them out so they can't attack you back, and they'll be knocked down so you can do
Cool.
big damage.
Cool.
Yeah, yeah. And then the last one is a kinship gauge, and that one is basically like your limit break. So it
Oh,
builds up, and then over time, in your limit break attacks, you ride the monster. You get on its back, and then you can do powerful kind of combo attacks when you're on its back.
cool. I love that limit break, which is I think from Final Fantasy
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
7. I think 7. I love that that has just kind of become like a colloquial term that we're like, oh yeah, it's like that extra super powerful move. And
But I feel like every turn-based game has it
oh
nowadays.
yeah, for
They're
sure.
all
Like
just
so many
like,
of
and
them
after
do.
a while, you get this super big attack, and it's like, oh yeah, everybody's got that. It's a limit
Yeah,
break.
of course. A limit break. Yeah, we know what you're talking about.
But is there another term you would use? I just say limit
No,
break.
I don't think so. I mean, that's what I would use. I think that's just kind of like the JRPG standard like terminology you'd use. Limit
Yeah,
break for
I
like
think
a
everybody gets it.
special power.
It's the limit break.
That's what it is.
Um, Kinship gauge equal lemon break.
Lemon break, little kinship gauge. Kinship gauge makes it sound like it's like a relationship building, like they're kin.
I mean, it's your monstie. You're tight.
You tight? Yeah, my
Yep.
Monty's my best friend.
All right. Weapons wise, you'll be happy to hear all the weapons that are in this game
Yeah,
are similar to the Monster Hunter mainline games, but
great.
they've pared them back a whole bunch. There's not like 15 of them like in the main. You have like I think 6 options.
That was quite overwhelming when you
It's
listed them
overwhelming.
last time. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's not as many. You got a couple that are the blunt weapons, which is a hammer and a hunting horn. Some that are the piercing, which is the gun lance and the bow, and some that are like the slicing or sharp, which is like the great sword and the long sword. And
Okay.
each of them plays a little differently, and you kind of just get stuck in the ones you like. So I did a lot of hammer, hunting horn, and bow, but but you can do whatever you like. And similar to the games, certain body parts might take more damage from certain types of weapon. So like the head normally takes more damage from a hammer or blunt weapons. So something like that.
Oh,
And that
cool.
is continued in this game because you can aim at certain body parts when you attack.
I see.
Yeah. Gear wise, I'd say it's light on gear. You've got a few slots. You got an armor slot and you've got some weapon slots. And then on each weapon, you might have some decoration slots that can add additional bonuses. So that's simple. It's not too crazy for the gear side of things. Okay, so when your monster will do its attack, will do its thing, this is a kind of a cool customization system that I really liked, the
Hmm.
monster's genes. So like we said, kidnap those little baby monsters. Each one might become more powerful as you upgrade their level, and
Yeah.
then they'll come along with more powerful genes, okay? So the genes are just their attacks and their extra bonuses and what they can do. What attacks can they do and what bonuses can they do to make the build for that monster. Okay, and then the little mini game that you have for this is it's a 3x3 grid, so 9 spots. You can put 9 genes onto your monster in a 3x3 grid, and if you line up like a bing, like a, they call it a bingo, but it's more like a tic tac toe, right? Like 3 in a row
Yeah.
of like 3 fire skills in a row. Then that monster will do extra fire damage, and you could line up a whole bunch of fire. You can do like 9 fire skills and maybe get a whole bunch more fire damage on that monster, or 9 fire tic tac toes, which they call bingos. Again, confusingly. And then so yeah, so there's this little mini game to like you want these certain attacks on this monster and you want these certain abilities, but also you got to make sure they're the right classes or subgenres so that you can get the most bonuses.
Okay, that is losing me a little bit, but
Okay.
mostly because I'm not smart.
No, it's fine. You would look at it, and it's actually really easy to just like, okay, I want 3 red ones in a row because that's fire ones. I want
Great.
3 purple ones in a row, and then you get the bonuses, and it all pops up with higher numbers, and it feels good.
Oh, okay. Well, then that's nice. I like to see big numbers.
Big numbers go up. You would like it.
Big
Um,
Yay numbers.
Speaking of how things look visually, I think it's a treat. I think it's nice. I think it reminds me a lot of Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom, kind of that cell shaded look,
Oh, totally.
and anime esque, but more pastel and a little bit washed out, almost in the color palette compared to Tears of the Kingdom.
Do you
I, and
think
I
that washed out in like a good way? Do you like it?
kind of, how like pastels is like a little bit more, pastels almost like colors mixed with white, right? Like
Yeah,
you can
yeah.
make it, it's almost like that, like everything's just a little bit more whitened or
Softer,
washed out. I don't
softer.
know, softer maybe. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's probably a better term.
but higher dithering, I think the really cute, the really like smart, cute computer people would say.
That sounds great. I should have said that.
I don't know.
There's higher. Cut the last part. There's higher dithering in this one.
Shut
Go,
up.
go with that.
Yeah,
Uh,
okay.
okay. All right. And then music and sound wise, again, I also thought it was really nice. So the composers are Yuko Miyata, Akihiro Narita, and Kodai Ikeda. All these people are Capcom specific composers. And so the things that they've worked on are all other Capcom games. It's like other Monster Hunter games, Resident Evil games, Street Fighter games. So they're all like hired in house, it looks like.
That would be so cool to be a composer, but like not just a composer, but like I'm one of Capcom's composers. Like that's your
I know.
job.
That would feel good too from like a job perspective. They'd be like, okay, we want you because of what you're good at on the next Resident Evil. Great.
Yeah.
That'd be sick, right?
That'd be so cool. Yeah. Oh, man, I have composer friends who would kill for those jobs.
It seems like a cool gig. And these games or the sound in this is very Monster Hunter esque. It's orchestral, high action pieces. They really go with the flow also of the turn based battles because there is a flow to these battles. You're
Hmm.
building up that kinship gauge. You're kind of knocking down their Wyvernfell gauge. You can do these big, huge attacks at the end when they're so there's kind of like a crescendo to a battle, which is really nice, and the music goes along with that. Also, historically, a lot of Monster Hunter games, there's kind of like a piece for a monster. Each monster might have their own song or their own like
Yeah.
kind of motifs that goes with it. And so I read an interview of these composers and they brought those in obviously, and then they would say, yeah, but in this game the monster acts more like this or is mutated in this way. So we used these synths or we used these different instruments to highlight that. So they were being so thoughtful with their music on this, which I really appreciate.
That's really cool and great usage of motif. That's the correct term. Light motif would also suffice as well
That would
as
have been extra points,
yeah.
bonus points, professor.
But A plus still for you, my pupil.
Great. Anyway, so best aspects. What did I love the most about this game? Again, you don't have to play Monster Hunter to play this. You really don't.
Hmm.
But it is a super faithful adaptation to the turn-based genre that I really appreciate. At every turn, every system, everything is flawlessly adapted and works really well as a standalone. But when I can see where they came from to this,
Hmm.
it kind of gives it that extra edge of appreciation. It's a deep combat system. It was a little confused. I think in a 45-minute discussion, if I'm confusing you with the systems, in my estimation, that means the systems are deep enough.
I
That means
got.
that means there's something that you're going to have to sink your teeth into. You're going to have to think about it a little bit, rather than if you can completely explain it in 3 minutes, maybe it's not deep enough.
Okay, that's an interesting like take for you to have. Like, you want
Yeah.
to be not confused because I wasn't confused, but like you want to have more questions when someone tells you about a game. If they only
Yeah.
have 3 minutes, you don't want to know everything because to
You don't
you
want to know everything.
that could mean the game is too simple.
Yeah, that's what I
Okay,
would say, at least.
okay, good to know.
Um, yeah, so I think it's there's a lot to work with. You can really customize your monster and customize your team and figure out what strategy you want for different battles, which is fun.
Hmm.
Or
Hmm.
you just pick the monster you like or the one that looks cool color wise. Because that's something I didn't mention. If you raise them in a different area, they'll get like a different element that they can use. So you could have like a fire monster that then becomes like electricity power, like they can use electric elements because you raise them in an electric area, and then
Oh,
there'll be like yellow version of the red monster and they look cooler. So
that's
yeah,
kind of neat.
it's kind of fun. So then you can kind of just do what you want with the monsties. Um, okay, the monster hunter, or sorry, monster collecting and the habitat restoration part.
Hmm.
Again, I never thought I would get into this. I've never liked Pokemon really and those kind of things.
Yeah.
But just going out, collecting them, watching the rank go up for each area, getting a more powerful one, and then putting it on your team was very, again, yeah, therapeutic, meditative, just cozy, just great.
Okay.
So I dug it. And then I would say there's different levels of difficulty and engagement that I think is nice. So if you just want to kind of crush through the story, you can probably do it. It can be difficult, but you could get through there without too many problems, or just
Okay.
change the difficulty level, right? And that's not too bad. But there's also the invasive monsters that you can do, or you can make sure you upgrade all the local animals or local monsties to their highest rank. That's some additional challenge. There's some super bosses that are in each biome also. So you've got these different levels of difficulty that you can really kind of cater your experience.
So it sounds like you could speed through the game if you wanted to, or you could really take your time raising all these monsters, and of course, going after super bosses.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of options there, and it can be kind of difficult. But I think if you lower the baseline, because I think I played it on normal,
Yeah.
and it was relatively difficult. But then what happened is I spent so much time farming the eggs that my everything was so over leveled that then it became almost too. It swung towards the too easy
Yeah.
near the end. Least favorite aspects though for me, yeah, as you mentioned, you can't control all the party members. I'm a control freak. I want to make sure I know, they're doing this move that will then enhance my move in the next round, and kind of you're planning all things together as a team. So
Mhm.
that's a little bit of a hindrance.
Yeah.
And then, ironically, I don't think I was quite as swept up with the actual story. It's called Monster Hunter Stories, and I don't know if it was the greatest story in my opinion.
Yeah.
And the main character is pretty bland. I just didn't have a whole lot of. He didn't get his hooks in me for what his motivations were.
I think a lot of people share those two critiques from what I've read.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah. I mean, honestly, it's crazy. I think the combat and the systems are much more enticing to me than the story of a Monster Hunter Stories game.
yeah.
Weird.
Well, it's okay. It wasn't a silent protagonist though?
No, he talks.
He talks. Okay, cool, cool, cool.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, I'm going to try to do my best to summarize it, I guess, the
Please
best I
do.
can.
This is the
So,
test.
this is the
This
test.
is your leitmotif.
Wow. Well, wrong usage. So play this game. Play this game, I guess, sure, if you like turn-based RPGs. If
Yes.
you like collecting monsters, that could mean if you like Pokemon or SMT or Persona, maybe you give a game like this a try if you like the monster collecting aspect. If you like a mainline Monster Hunter game, and if you're familiar with the systems of the monsters, if you want something slightly more, can I call it complex? Yeah.
It's complex. I'd say it's a different system because, like, the fact that you're a person, but also then a monster, so then both of them attack very differently. And with all the different systems and the Wyvernfell gauge, like, it felt different.
Yeah.
Like, there were enough different systems to the turn base that it is a much different flavor.
Okay. So, a slightly deeper more combat system. I guess do not play it, obviously, if you do not want to, because we're not here to tell you what you have to do. But, if you don't like Monster Hunter at all, maybe this isn't for you. If you don't like the idea of catching monsters, a Pokemon, or if the idea of a really deep complex battle system freaks you out, maybe not for you. If you want to control all of your characters, that's the one that gets me. Like if you want to control all your characters, this one might give you pause.
That agreed, agreed. Or if you really hate leitmotifs.
If
Did I get it?
you sure, well, I mean, uh, I guess also that could be you. Sure, you got it technically on a technicality. Congratulations.
I nailed it. That was a good summary. Thanks, DJ. So apparently I did a good job today so that you could summarize it so well.
Boom! You sure
Nailed it.
did. You
Nailed
nailed
it.
it so hard. Sam, outside of Monster Hunter Stories 3 Twisted Reflection switch to Unlimited Edition Golden status, outside of that game, what else are you playing?
I am playing Quartet. Yeah, I'm digging it. Really, like it's
Yeah,
funny. It's visually. Is it 8-bit or 16-bit or I don't know, but it's old school.
16-bit, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, 16, and it's not, but not like 2D HD, and I
No.
kind of dig that. I'm, you can't like read their facial expressions, but they do such a good job of still kind of you like the character and you're following the character and you're laughing at the character, and that's mostly the writing. But yeah,
Yeah.
and then gameplay's fun so far. Music and sound is great. Oh my
Music and
gosh,
sound fantastic.
that's probably the star so far for me. But oh yeah, and I'm digging it, and I like that it's the chapter system, kind of like Octopath, because I
Yeah, yeah,
can
yeah.
jump in and jump out easier. So
Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
yeah,
it reminds me a little bit of Octopath, a little bit of Live Alive.
totally. Yeah, they're all very similar, and so
Yeah.
I'm gonna play that, and then I've just been really hankering to get back into Trails first chapter, so that especially so I can finish it before the next one.
Right?
Um,
Because I
but yeah,
bet I maybe they've announced this already too, but I bet for Trails, I bet there's going to be like save data that you can transfer to number two.
from what I hear, yeah, it's the same story, and it's got to be
It's
something that
got
transfers.
it's got to be. Anyway, I'm also playing Quartet.
Woo!
I'm farther along than you are because I've had more time, between all these gigs. I've had a little more time to play it. I'm about 12 hours into it,
Nice.
which for a game that's only estimated to be about 25 hours, it's about halfway through. And I can
Does
say
it feel like that?
it feels like it's getting close to the halfway mark. I'm going to play it tonight after we finish recording, and I think I'm about to reach the point where all 8 characters are together. Like I have that feeling now. Yeah. Yeah, yeah,
Well,
yeah.
cool. I
Yeah.
I'm excited. Don't tell me too much. I gotta figure it out myself.
I will say the story gets a lot darker and serious than I thought it was going to for a game that looks so
There
bright.
was also already some dark themes. I asked you if I could play it with N and have her kind of read it. I said, "Is it appropriate at all for a 7-year-old to watch me play it?" And you said yes. And then there were some themes that I immediately thought maybe not.
Maybe not. I mean, yeah. I mean, you know what? She's going to learn about it in history in a couple years anyway. So,
Good
but
points.
yeah.
Solid points.
Thanks. So yeah, that was a lovely convince episode today. You do so well at these, Sam. You do such a good job.
I appreciate that, but can you give me a recap on how many of the games I've tried to convince you that you've actually played?
Anyway, if you would like to follow, hey, no, I have nothing. You totally got me on that. But
But
I
this is the
bet,
beautiful thing that why we do a lot of these convince me games behind the curtain for folks
yeah,
is that we love a lot of the same games, but we also like games that are very different within the same genre of JRPGs and
yeah.
turn-based RPGs. And so that's why we want to be able to play those games and not have to subject the other person to playing all of those games.
Oh my God.
Sometimes we do. Yeah, and so then this allows us to do these convince me episodes and broaden our horizons and talk about more games and play the things that we want to play and so yeah,
And not feel, I know, I'm so sorry. I feel like I subject you to games far more than you subject me to games. But yeah, I mean, so you're a good sport.
there might be some truth to that, but
I think
it
so.
is branching me out and making me less curmudgeonly with my gaming expectations.
Exactly. So, if you want to hear more about Sam's curmudgeonly expectations,
And you
you
do.
can, and you can follow us at Turn Based Besties on Instagram. You can also follow us on Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube, wherever you get your podcasts, we are there. Check us out on TikTok because Sam is making some hilarious tink tonks. Go
Yep.
to our socials. Let us know, Sam. You let me know what you were even about to say before I cut you off, but let us know about Monster Hunter Stories 3. You can also email us comments and questions at turnbasedbesties@gmail.com. I cut you off. What were you going to say?
I think I just said yep.
Oh, yep, just kidding. We have new episode released, basically every other week. That's not true, but we basically get two out every month. Friday mornings, 8 a.m. Pacific time or 10 a.m. Central, because that's where we live. So that's what we give those times. If you live on the East Coast, that's 11 a.m., and you should be able to do math and know that. So that's why they don't say it.
And this was quite the adventure on this pod today. So, as we say,
As we say.
when everything in the world points right, maybe go left, see what you find. I'm Sam.
And I'm DJ, and this has been another episode of Turn Based Besties. Goodbye.
Goodbye out there.
Do, 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 do.